Okay, good morning, everyone. This is Doug Nesbitt, Director of Affinity Partnerships for CMG Financial, and you're tuned into the Friday webinar series, Home Fund It, Opportunities for Real Estate Professionals, Loan Officers, and Real Estate Agents. Welcome to the call. It's Friday the 4th, and glad you guys could all be with us, starting off a new month here. We're waiting for a fairly good-sized group of folks to jump on board here, so I'll do a little bit of administrative details, and then we'll get things rolling here. You are all currently muted so that we don't hear a lot of background noise. It's the way these webinars work. Makes it kind of hard to ask questions, so feel free to look around on your screen there for the Q&A panel and the chat panel. Either one of those will work for asking questions. I've got them both open here on my other screen. So if you ask a question, hopefully I will see it, and I'll try to answer it on the fly as we go through. Presentation takes about 30-35 minutes tops. I go really fast, so if I miss something, please do ask a question. It's divided up into 3 parts: HomeFundIt, the platform, how it works, etc. The HomeFundIt Realtor Portal, and if you're a real estate agent, you're going to want to have one of these because this is what allows you to get this out to your buyers and get them started. If you're a loan officer, you're going to want to make sure all of your real estate agents have them. So that second part is very, very important. Then we'll do a quick section on the affinity opportunity for those of you who like to work with companies and create programs for companies. And then lastly, we'll kind of do a little quick wrap up in Q&A. I have a special gift for you at the end. So I'll put that on the chat kind of towards the end of the presentation. And it is some tools that are going to be great resources for you as you get HomeFundIt out there. You should all be seeing a blue screen that says HomeFundIt Opportunities for Real Estate Professionals. If you cannot see that blue screen being shared, please let me know. That means there's something wrong. But it says here that I'm sharing it, so I'm going to just go on that, and we're going to trust and make sure that if you can't see it, let me know, please, in chat. Okay, let's get things rolling here. A little bit about CMG, for those of you who aren't familiar with the company. Founded in 1993 by Chris George, recently the chairman of the MBA. We're privately held. We did about $30 billion last year in mortgages, probably similar this year. Loan officers coast to coast, branches coast to coast, the full range of lending programs, plus 2 proprietary programs that you can't get anywhere else but CMG and its joint venture partners. And that's the all-in-one loan. The most powerful loan on the planet. It's the loan I have on my house, and if you're not familiar with that loan, you definitely want to get familiar with it. And then secondly, HomeFundIt, and that's what we're here to talk about today. HomeFundIt, what does it do? Well, it does one thing for your buyer and one thing for you really well. For your buyer, it solves the #1 problem that they have, and that is the down payment, right? Because today, folks just have a hard time saving for down payment. We'll talk about that on the next couple slides. The thing that it does for you is it allows you to park and lock in these folks that aren't ready to go today. And you meet tons of them. For every 10 people you meet, probably only 2 of them are really ready to go right now. Maybe 8 of them are probably kind of getting ready, right? And they may have a long time horizon. So how do you make sure that that person remains your customer down the line, or becomes your customer down the line? Call me when you're ready to buy a house. Doesn't cut it. So the bottom line is, how do you put those people in the pipeline and keep them there for an indefinite amount of time? And that's HomeFundIt. We're going to talk a ton about that. So it can speed up that purchase timeline because it can put people in a stronger position to buy sooner. And because you can park and lock these folks in for a long timeline, it can make sure you don't lose them to your competition. Let's talk about first-time homebuyers. Millennials, they're all buying houses finally, right? The average age of millennials is about the same as the traditional average age of first-time homebuyers right now. So that you could say the crest of this huge wave of this generation is kind of coming right through the age when they typically are buying houses. And that's why 82% of millennials want to buy a home right now. 63% of prospective buyers that you talk to today, statistically, are first-time buyers on average. And when you actually look at current home buyers, though, first-time buyers are getting squeezed out of the market. Only about 26% of them are first-time buyers. And the big difference is a lot of them get squeezed out because they don't have enough cash to buy the home, right? Whether it's a down payment or whether they can't keep up with all of the offers on some of these houses. they need more cash to be able to buy these houses, so they get squeezed, right? And down payment's a big, huge, it is the big chunk of that. When you talk to first-time home buyers, all of the things we know about are happening to them: high home prices, rising rents, and this time student debt, right? So when you talk to renters who don't own a home yet, 70% of them will tell you that the down payment is the reason they haven't bought a house, even though they want to. So when they get some help today with that down payment, how do they do that? Well, down payment gifting, right? The problem is that down payment gifting really comes in from one source, and that's parents. Bank of mom and dad in about 25, 35% of cases, even though under Fannie, Freddie, FHA guidelines, other relatives can help with that down payment, but they never get asked. And why is that? Simple. And you know, friction, right? Paper checks, got to chase down gift letters. And that's why most buyers today just say, well, like, my parents will help me, but I just don't really want to go there. It's just too hard for me to chase down all that stuff from all those other relatives. And that's where we started working on HomeFundIt. We said, hey, let's take that friction away and make it so that you can do the down payment gifting online with just a debit card or a credit card, no offline paperwork, just a few clicks, and people can make donations very, very easily. And that allows you to open up the circle to all those folks that they might not have asked before, probably wouldn't have asked before. And now possibilities start to happen for your buyer, right? Yeah, my grandparents would give because it's a lot easier. All I have to do is stop into my HomeFundIt page and make a donation with a debit or credit card. I don't have to chase down gift letters. I don't have to explain anything to them. I can just have them help. And now on HomeFundIt, anyone can give: friends, teammates, coworkers, wedding guests. That's a big one. We spent the last hour working on wedding programs. And it just opens up the possibilities for your buyer and takes them from bank of mom and dad helping to possibly all these other folks in their life helping, right? The folks they went to college with, the best man, the old college roommate. It might be wedding guests. It could be people they invited to their graduation or to their wedding, people who flew all the way across the country to come to their wedding, right? Those are the folks who we see typically participating in HomeFundIt campaigns, right? That inner circle of best family and best friends who really care about you, love you, want to see you do well in life, right? And all those folks can give up to $7,500 per donor. There's no maximum on a campaign, so you can keep going. And 100% of the money that you bring in goes to the purchase. We don't take any commissions or costs. Sets up very, very easily. They just go through a few simple setup screens, and presto, they've got a page on the web where they can collect contributions from family and friends. They can customize the photo, the story. There's a nice default story there, but you can customize that as well. Loan officer and real estate or agent are both featured on the campaign. There's a place in the upper right where people can donate to the campaign. Very easy. There's a second way to add funds to a down payment. It's called UpIt. I'm going to talk about that in a second. And in the bottom right, you can see where all of those donations are coming in. We match those donations 2 to 1 up to the lesser of $2,000 or 1% of purchase price. And we do that for first-time buyers who take Home Buyer Ed prior to signing a purchase contract. And we apply those that $2,000 to closing costs. So it's super easy to get $2,000 free money towards your purchase. Just bring in $1,000 in gifts and you're there. We do a lot of these with Freddie Mac's Borrow Smart program. Borrow Smart is where you can get anywhere between $1,000 and $2,500 towards the down payment or closing costs. It's super simple. The only requirement there is that you make less than 100% of the area median income. And that second tier, the 80% tier, is going to go up to $1,250 on April 1st. So again, a second way to add money to a campaign very, very easily. It does require Home Buyer Ed, but the Home Buyer Ed for Borrow Smart counts for the Home Buyer Ed for HomeFundIt, so you don't have to do two. And you can apply those costs, those dollars, to down payment or closing costs. Plus, it works with Home Possible, the 3% down payment from Freddie Mac. So the bottom line is, it really is a great combination to HomeFundIt. I like to say these programs go together like peanut butter and chocolate. The top producers do them both regularly at the same time. I mentioned a second way to add funds to a campaign, and that's simply by shopping. It's called UpIt. you can click on the campaign page or use a handy Chrome widget that we have for UpIt. And basically, it's very easy. You just click there or use the Chrome widget when you're visiting a store, and it opens up 1,000 online retailers where each retailer has a rebate that's accredited back to your down payment at closing. It's a pledge, so you have to buy the house. Great retention tool. Average contribution back to the down payment is 7.6% across all the retailers. You're looking at Walmart, they're 4%. You're probably going to shop there a lot. And so basically when someone shops at Walmart, 4% gets credited back to the down payment at closing. All the stores you know and love are in here. So it's very, very easy, and you'll be surprised if you install the Chrome widget. And by the way, your campaigner should have their family and friends install the Chrome widget. Basically, you just randomly bump into any of these stores, basically, and it automatically links that shopping trip to the down payment. So if people have a good little supporter network out there doing some shopping, it can really add a lot of basically free money to their down payment. Imagine all your family and friends using it to shop for your campaign. So it's a pretty great way to go. And again, you'd be surprised at how many times the widget pops up when you visit any of these stores that you tend to just stop in at. You get $2 for every dollar you get back in UpIt pledges towards your $2,000 lender grant. So it's a second way to get to that $2,000 lender grant. So you can get there by gifting, 2-to-1 match on gifting. You can get there by shopping, 2-to-1 match on the shopping rebates. So if you spend $100 at Walmart, you get $4 towards your down payment and $8 towards your $2,000 lender grant. Imagine, again, having a bunch of family and friends doing some shopping. It can be there pretty quick. So in Walmart, that's like a 12% total value. That's great compared to what you might get on credit card. And that's on top of the deals that Walmart's giving, you know, on the things that you buy there. So tons of stores, tons of opportunity. Third way to get to that $2,000 lender grant is by sharing your campaign on social. We give you $10 per platform, per person, per day on social. And we've actually had people get all the way to $2,000 simply by having family and friends sharing their campaign a bunch. So again, third way to get to that $2,000 lender grant. Campaigner has full control over their campaign by just logging in, and they get to a dashboard where they can control their story, share, track their gifts, track their matching, etc. Now, one thing we always tell people is start early. So as soon as you meet somebody that wants to be a home buyer, set them up on a campaign page. There is no time limit on HomeFundIt campaigns. There used to be a 12-month limit. We've released that, so they're now unlimited. And we are now seeing campaigns that are a year, year and a half old that are coming in for a landing. That's a pipeline builder, right? So set people up as soon as you realize they want to buy a house, have them set up a campaign page. And even if they just want to shop with UpIt for a while before they start doing their discussing down payment gifts and stuff, just let them shop with UpIt, tell their family and friends to shop with UpIt. They can start fundraising anytime they want. Typically that process goes about 4 to 12 weeks once they start telling people about the campaign page and, you know, having people send in donations and stuff like that. Obviously, you want to get pre-qualified as soon as you can. You got to do that prior to signing a purchase contract to get the $2,000. And they want to get out there and do house hunting. Get that pre-qual and home buyer ed done prior to signing a purchase contract. Now, the thing about HomeFundIt is the funds have to season in the buyer's bank account. So we encourage buyers to get their fundraising done. And there's an ACH button on the campaign control panel that allows them to deposit those funds into their bank account in time to season. That's usually 1 bank statement or 2 bank statements prior to submitting all the materials for final underwrite. Typically, that's at contract time as they go into contract. So we tell people, rule of thumb, 60 days prior to contract. That could be a little longer depending on how the months start and how many bank statements you need. It could be a little shorter depending on how many bank statements you need. Manage that with your clients. You still get the $2,000 at the end of the process. So deposit those funds, and the $2,000 is the incentive that holds them through the process. We don't see people raise funds and exit. That almost never ever happens. I think we count them on one hand, and that's usually because of some issues that have popped up that are non-housing related issues. So it almost never happens that they just run off with the money. When people give them money, they tend to buy a house. Now, what we do see though is that people discover HomeFundIt pretty close to contract time, and they say, well, gee, I don't have time to season those funds. What do I do? Well, you got a couple options. One is you can shoot those funds out to a totally unrelated account. Just don't get them tangled up in the transaction on the bank statements so the underwriter doesn't, see that. Send that out to some other place. Or, and this is what most people do that find out about HomeFundIt at the last minute, is they hold those funds in their campaign and release them after closing so that they can use them to fix the things that the seller wouldn't fix, which is pretty much everything. People need money after the purchase as well, so people are very happy to have down payment gift money that ends up being fix-it money after closing. They still get their $2,000, not a problem. And we typically have about half the people who are getting done in time, half the people who found out about HomeFundIt kind of late and didn't have time to season those funds, and they just take the funds after the transaction. So that's pretty much what we see in terms of a timetable on these deals. Quick question had come in about Home Buyer Ed. Do we have the link or list on how they can get that? Home Buyer Ed is very easy to get into for your buyer. Once they have a campaign, they go into their dashboard on their campaign. And I'll go back to the campaign dashboard here. Whoops. On the campaign dashboard, in the very bottom right, which you can't kind of see here, there's an ACH button for releasing the funds. I wanted to tell you about that. And on the left now, this is kind of an old screenshot, there's a to-do list. In the to-do list, it says Take Home Buyer Ed. And they click that button and it explains how to get into Home Buyer Ed. Right now we offer a 1-hour phone-based version. It's free. And they can either do it right then when they call in, or they can schedule a time that works for them. So that's pretty much it. Okay. So that's the way that you set up a campaign and release the funds. We have completed, actually this date slide's a little out of date, it's almost 1,200 campaigns now, and about 300 million in real estate purchased. So we've seen a ton of these to date. Top 10 campaigns, remember there's no upper limit on the campaign size, so we've seen some very, very large ones. What I would say is the sweet spot campaign is 5 to 15,000, 5 to 15 people giving. So kind of a 5 to 15 rule, I call it. And that's for a good-looking, well-shared campaign that people tell their family and friends. Typically 5 to 15 rolls in. We see smaller campaigns, and obviously, as you see here, we see larger campaigns as well. As I said, a sweet spot campaign typically is a nice photo, good story, and let people know. Because if you don't tell anybody, basically what you're back to is good old bank of mom and dad. So you got to let the grandparents know and stuff like that. And we always tell people today, this is not a time to be timid. First-time home buyers need all the help they can get. So we encourage people to, get out and talk to their family about how they want to buy a home, and if there's a way that they could help. This is a look at a typical sweet spot campaign. It was a couple who had recently gotten married, and then they went back to the same folks who came to their wedding. They actually just thought that the parents would give. But what they were surprised is 13 people gave almost $11,000, really put them over the hump in terms of buying the house. And they ended up buying a lot sooner than they would have. Good looking campaign, good photo, good story, and shared, right? Those are the secret ingredients, not so secret ingredients. A lot of campaigns have to do with family. So that's kind of the photo you see on a lot of them. We see a lot of dream house campaigns. Right now, we're seeing tons of wedding-related campaigns. People are figuring out that they don't need another toaster. They already have that. And the weddings are fantastic opportunities to encourage their guests to help them with the down payment instead of buying them stuff. And the nice thing is HomeFundIt is a web page, so it links right up to your wedding website or to your listing in the Wedding Wire or the Knot or the Spruce. Bottom line is these are huge opportunities for people to do home type fundraising instead of gathering up gifts. And it's a lot easier on your guests as well to make a donation than to actually go out and get you stuff or shop for you. So people are finding that these are super successful type campaigns. Loan officers and real estate agents are flocking to wedding expos and getting tables at wedding expos. I'm working with a number of them right now for wedding expos in March. And they're sitting at tables and basically signing up clients because this is an idea that a lot of folks who are planning a wedding don't think about. You know, they do want to buy a house later, but they don't realize that there's a super easy way to collect down payment gifts from all those guests. And they can put them a jump ahead. So this is a fantastic way to lock up a pipeline of future business, way better than handing a business card out saying, hey, call me when you want to buy a house, right? So the bottom line is these are great tools in the moment to start people, and they're starting campaigns at the table with a laptop and getting the basics of a campaign set up. They can fix it up and make it pretty later, but bottom line, get people locked into that pipeline now and working with you today, even though they may not buy the house for quite a long time down the road. Same thing with solo campaigns. These are buyers who are basically finishing up school, starting that first job, and the families are eager to kind of help them get into the real estate market. But you know, there's no easy way to do that. Bottom line is you can talk to your older clients about getting their kids set up on these platforms. There's no minimum age. You only need to be 18 to do a loan. So we've got folks who are in college who have HomeFundIt campaigns. The loan officers had been introduced to them through the parents. And this is a great way to monetize your older client base. So it's a fantastic tool to lock up future business by tapping into that next generation of buyers. So consider the wedding opportunity, consider the solo buyer opportunity. These are business building ideas that are working for real estate agents and loan officers. Okay, so how do you get folks started? I did have a question here that came in about how do we get them started on HomeFundIt? The very best place to start somebody on HomeFundIt is through Real Estate Agent Portal. This is a landing page that real estate agents can set up in just a couple minutes, and it gives the buyer a starting place that's linked to the real estate agent and the loan officer, and it's got your branding and everything. So I'm going to show you that. It's got company branding on it for your real estate company. It's got your picture and contact information on it. It's got a big green button where your buyer can start a HomeFundIt journey. It's got an About Me statement that you can write or copy in. It's got a contact form that allows people to get back in touch with you. And it's got a set of videos that explain how the program works. This is basically everything you need to be able to sell the program here, plus press clippings. And once you get some campaigns up and running, they're showcased on your realtor portal. And basically, people can click right into them, check them out, and you can show off how you're helping first-time buyers. Now, in these campaigns, one of the things, if you're in one of the 39 states that allow for realtor fee negotiations or discounts to your fee, you can actually match into campaigns as a real estate agent. Dollar for dollar match up to however much you want. You can cap it wherever you want. But it's nice because anytime somebody donates, your match shows up right there. It's a pledge, so you're not actually putting in money every time someone donates. You're doing that at closing. But the bottom line is it's a great retention tool, and it's free advertising for you because every time somebody donates, you're right there on the campaign page with a matching pledge. There's 7 testimonial videos in your portal. These are highly crafted testimonial videos that are easy to share. They're in a marketing center, as you can see here, that's within your portal. And these are the bomb. They really are fantastic. They've got your branding automatically applied to the video. So wherever it goes, your branding goes right with it. They're super easy to share. And it's got a contact form that allows people to get back in touch with you. So this is like a self-contained marketing kit that just goes around on the web, basically. And you just share it wherever you want. It's a great thing. It talks about how HomeFundIt has helped first-time buyers get into their first home, and it's got your branding right there as someone to get in touch with. There's 7 of these in there, all different stories. I tell people share them on Fridays because people are kind of looking at social media a little bit heavier on the weekend. But again, great stories. Again, every one of them has your branding on it ready to go. You can see my branding on this one. I just click the share button underneath for Facebook. I'm logged into Facebook, so it opens up a post. There's the video. All I have to do is put some call to action content at the top, and we've pre-written that for you, by the way. And you just hit paste and post, and away it goes right into your timeline. And as you know, I mean, by the way, that's your marketing for the weekend. It took like seconds, right? And you can kick back and go, wow, I just got out there with something new. And if you have a Facebook page, as you know, you can boost that post. to thousands of people who don't follow your page today. So it's a great way to get out, get in front of people who are buying homes or wanting to buy a home or dreaming of buying a home, right? And for 50 bucks, you can boost that post in front of thousands of people in your area who are using things like Zillow, mortgage calculators, etc. You can target all that stuff. So if you got a Facebook page, post it and then boost it. Now, as I said, we've pre-written the copy for each one of those videos. There is a page in your Facebook marketing kit that you can get in the portal. Just download it. And this is the one that corresponds to this video here. And I'm simply copying and pasting the pre-written introductory text, which has a call to action in it, right onto my post. And then I just hit post or boost, depending on which I'm doing, right? So it's a fantastic way to not have to do any work and you've got all your marketing done for the weekend. So great way to go. So how do you get one of these portals? If you're a real estate agent, go to realtor.homefundit.com, put in your name, email, pick a password, put in some information about your company, pick a name for your site. It's usually, it goes in your URL. So I usually use first name, last name, or whatever. Upload your logo, upload your picture, write a little about me statement, and then importantly, choose a loan officer from the drop-down because that's who else is going to be with you on the page. And then if you are in one of the states that allow it, you want to do a matching pledge. I highly recommend it for all those reasons I mentioned earlier. You can do a dollar for dollar pledge up to however much you want. I see a lot of 500s, frankly. Realtor.homefundit.com. So again, if you're a real estate agent, that's how you get this. If you're a loan officer, you're going to want to make sure all your real estate agents go here, get one of these set up, and start campaigns there. That's the best place to start the campaign because it's got both the real estate agent and the loan officer working together as a team looking for buyers, right? That's the way to do it. You get weekly email statements. Your clients will get a weekly email update with your branding on it. As you can see here, it talks about how many times their page has been shared, shopped, or gifted that week, gives them a full update on things. And then anytime something happens, there's an instant email that goes out that says somebody just donated to that campaign. And that goes to the loan officer, real estate agent, and the buyer. Okay, last little section here on the corporate opportunity. We have had folks go out and take HomeFundIt into companies to tap into first-time buyers at companies. Companies love benefits that they can offer to their people. Same thing with any kind of organization, basically. It could be a church or a union, etc. This is a free benefit that you can take in that can help their folks go from renting to owning a little bit faster. And because this here is a web page called the Affinity Portal. You're looking at Graceland University out in Southern Iowa. They use it. It's part of their HR package. It's got built-in collateral so the HR person can give that out to employees and so forth. But anytime an employee gets hired, this is one of the benefits that they show them. And again, it's a tool from the university that allows people to gather up a down payment faster, and they can start a campaign right here. And the nice thing about this is all the campaigns that get started here go to the loan officer and real estate agent that belong to this affinity relationship. So if you've got folks who you have relationships with, HR director, president of a company, head of a union, head of an association, and they would like to offer a benefit to their people, this is a great way to go. I can help you with presentations on this. We've got a presentation built for it. All you have to do is kind of line up the relationship. We'll pick a time, get everybody on the phone. These set up very, very easily. The company actually has the option to match right into it as well. Okay, so to kind of wrap up, you know, today when you're meeting clients, they're at the end of this long journey of getting ready to buy a house, right? And then they say, I need a loan officer, I need a real estate agent, let's get going, all right? But with HomeFundIt, you have this unique opportunity to meet people well before they're ready to buy a house, right? And that starting point can be as early as while they're still in college. We just closed a really fantastic HomeFundIt campaign in early December, and that was a college student from the spring who set up a campaign page, did a gifting campaign in the early fall, and bought her house like months after graduating from college, but with help from family and friends. It was a fantastic campaign. That shows you that early starting point And bottom line is, and she shopped with Up It for a few months, and then they kind of got into gifting in the fall. Bottom line is she was done way ahead of when the typical college grad would buy a house, which is years, by the way, as you guys know. And that's because she had help, right? And got the thing going. And that loan officer and the real estate agent journeyed from day one back here all the way through purchase of a home, again, earlier. Plus, you have this interesting corporate opportunity where you can tap into groups of people with that first job. So the bottom line is you're able to lock folks in the moment as you discover, hey, they want to buy a house someday, set them up. Let them shop with Up It if they're not ready to do down payment gifting and they're not, on the run up to buying a house immediately. That's okay. And our best HomeFundIt producers stack these up like airplanes coming into an airport. Some of them are way out there on the landing pattern. Some of them just turn right in and land. But the bottom line is, it doesn't matter. You're not in control of that timeline anyway. The bottom line is you want to lock those folks in, put them on your landing pattern, guide them in, right? In all cases, they're going to come in faster than they would if they were on a regular landing pattern. It all gets down to getting people on these campaign pages, right? So for you, it can speed up that process for your buyer. And for those that aren't ready to buy today, you can make sure that you don't lose them to competitors. For your clients, it's frictionless gifting. You've taken the friction out of this down payment gifting process, and that opens up possibilities, right? And that's the difference here, is that more people can help them. And those buyers, because of the need today, are more likely to say, you know what, maybe I can get some help, because it is easy. And there's two ways to do it: donations, or for those folks who are kind of light helpers, shopping, right? So set up a realtor portal if you're a real estate agent. If you're a loan officer, make sure your real estate agents set these up. Realtor.homefundit.com. Talk to your older clients. They're the gateway to that next generation of buyers. And then every person you meet that is a potential first-time buyer, have them set them up a campaign page, no matter when. Not like later. Do it now. Set them up and get them on your pipeline, on your landing pattern, not somebody else's. And we reach out to them within 24, 36 hours, make sure they understand. We make sure they understand how the program works, make sure, everything is good. And we're there to kind of help make sure that your buyers get the most out of this program and utilize it to its full degree, because they really need the help, right? And the bottom line is we're going to make sure they have a good experience as they're in that landing pattern. And share, right? Post testimonial videos around. Those are great for generating business. Email links to your portal to folks, and talk to those older clients. Again, update your signature block and website. And that's HomeFundIt, the program itself, the real estate agent portal. Interesting little corporate affinity opportunity if that's for you. And the bottom line is you're speeding up that process and putting people in a position to buy sooner and stronger, and at the same time making sure you don't lose people who have long timelines. So hope you found that interesting. If you have questions, feel free to type those into the Q&A panel, and I'll do my best to answer those here. Hang around as long as needed. I have my info at the bottom of this screen here, dnesbitt@cmgfi.com. We do dedicated presentations for real estate offices and loan officer groups. So if you've got a group that you want to present to, let me know. We do a bunch of those a week, and it just depends on what you need. We're here to support you. And if you have questions, type them in. Okay, I don't see any questions coming in, so I'll let you guys go. Thanks for being on the call. Go out and make it a great and safe weekend. And I forgot, I was gonna give you a gift, and I forgot to do that. So in the chat section, I am typing in a link. Actually, I'm pasting in a link to a HomeFundIt starter kit. It's got flyers. It's got the cheat sheet in it, which is really great. You gotta look at that. It's got an FAQ document that'll answer every question that you could possibly have. It's got a copy of the presentation and everything you need to get going. It's a zip file, so what it's going to want to do is save to your desktop, and then you extract all the files that are in it by double-clicking it. And comes from our cloud server, so it's fine. But the cheat sheet is what you really need to kind of review the program. It's got a bunch of links. to various videos and things like that. So hope you find that interesting. So grab that zip file and download it. Okay, I don't see any other questions here. So again, thanks for being on the call, and please, please, please reach out as you start talking about this to folks. If you haven't done it before, it's a little bit daunting at first. Just remember, this is way easier down payment gifting, and it comes with a bunch of bells and whistles, but the bottom line is it just takes the friction out of down payment gifting. So I hope you'll give that a shot, and we're here to help along the way. Thanks, everybody. Bye now.